Here we are with another episode of No Holds Barred Podcast. And if you like controversy, if you like entertainment, if you like wrestling, feel free to like our page on Facebook at No Holds Barred. Subscribe to us on YouTube at No Holds Barred. And we got a brand new Instagram page. Take it away, Marcus.
Brand new Instagram page, T.N.H.B_podcast. Don't forget it. And remember, it'll hold your attention. Remember that.
That's right. It'll hold your attention. And speaking of attention, there's been a lot of attention grabbers in the WWE when it comes to talent being suspended. And just recently, we've had Roman Reigns suspended. At first, many thought it was something maybe steroid related, but it turns out he just got suspended for Adderall. You know, I'm not an expert at Adderall, but I know it is for people who have problems focusing, for people with ADHD or whatever. So apparently Roman Reigns needed this. It helps him to perform, or maybe it helps him to work out. Who knows what he was using it for. But it's apparently on WWE's hate list. They don't allow it. And even Marie, it turns out, got suspended for the same thing.
And bad timing, too.
Exactly.
Horrible timing.
Both bad timing, even Marie and Roman Reigns. And to go a little further back, I don't know if you remember this, Marcus, but about a few months ago, Adam Rose was kind of suspended and eventually released because of that.
Exactly.
And he actually took a picture of his prescription. He needed the Adderall. It was prescribed by the doctors, and he posted the picture of the prescription on Twitter to prove that he wasn't taking it for a performance enhancer, or as a performance enhancer, or for any cheat method. He really needed it, and the WWE still gave him flack for it and still punished him for it. So what I will say about this, when it comes to drugs like Adderall or drugs like marijuana, where there's technically no overdose or technically no substance abuse, it's something that people could possibly actually need to function in a certain way, I think WWE should be a little more lenient to it, because let's go back. If Roman Reigns didn't, get caught up with Adderall, the next couple of months would go totally differently. Who knows what could have happened? Maybe we would have got that Roman Reigns heel turn. Maybe we would have got Roman Reigns casted in another light. But for the fact that these guys have to abruptly get taken off TV, and then you got to rewrite the script and rewrite everything and start from scratch, is it worth it in the end? It isn't cocaine. Thankfully, it isn't ecstasy. It isn't Molly or any of those things. I think those things like that fall under the same category. Things like marijuana and Adderall, if it's prescribed, by the way. If you are doing that on your own time, like away from the ring, away from a performance, I throw that under the same category as alcohol. If you choose to drink, you're an adult on your free time, you want to maybe go to the bar, maybe have a sip of wine, champagne, whatever you're going to do it responsibly. Same goes for marijuana, same goes for Adderall. If you're going to do that on your time off, do it responsibly. Don't let it hinder your performance. And personally, I know there's athletes in the NBA, athletes in the NFL, and athletes in the WWE, whether we know it or not, that they consume marijuana, or they may even be on Adderall, and it doesn't diminish their performance, it doesn't diminish their functioning, and they're still up to date with what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
When it comes to just Adderall, it is something to help them focus in a sense. And I think if they don't abuse it, then they should be able to use it in a sense, because at the end of the day, if they're not showing that they're not fumbling in matches, or are groggy in any sense, in any way, shape, or form,
or mentally lost.
Exactly. Then they should be just fine. If it's abused, then that's a whole nother story. With Roman Reigns, it just seemed like he was just doing it just for kind of like medical uses in a sense, and not for for personal use, but and with just marijuana, how I feel it should definitely be a suspension factor in a sense, because marijuana, it is proven that it is indeed like a gateway drug, and you can eventually do other kinds of drugs. It can lead to cocaine use or heroin use. It could be a potential factor down the line, and I think if a superstar does do marijuana, they should be prosecuted for those 30 days to kind of help them reevaluate just their decision as to why they used it to begin with, and it should show them that they didn't necessarily need to use it in the beginning, because like with marijuana, it has a negative connotation, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
You know, like it's like if like people would think like, okay, if you smoke weed, then it's just like you're not necessarily doing too much, or you know, you're just like getting high all the time in a sense. And it's like if a wrestler, or just even in the NFL, if an NFL player was to just do marijuana, it wouldn't look right for the franchise, for the team in a sense. And it's just like, how would other investors be able to invest in the company if they know that their performers are on a drug? Because at the end of the day, marijuana is indeed a drug. And yeah, and honestly, in my opinion, it is totally fair that a wrestler does get suspended for 30 days for marijuana use, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, they're casted in the light and they're in front of the public, and it's like if they're high, or in a sense, then it just wouldn't look good relations-wise for the company, and that's just my opinion on that.
I think it's a drug, no matter what your opinion, no matter how.
It
is a drug, you know, it's a stimulant. But let's go back to what we said with the Adderall. What if a joint, we don't know, again, it goes back to the abuse factor. To me, I think as long as you're not abusing it, doing it responsibly, you're an adult, you could have a few joints, you could have a joint or so. But if you're showing up to practice to go over your match and you're high, this is not you being responsible. This is when you deserve to be suspended. This is when you're being, you're not going about it the right way. Time off, or maybe, I don't know, maybe they're getting a couple weeks off from Vince and they decide to hit a joint. Now, this talent comes back and happens to fail a drug test for smoking one joint on their time off. They're automatically condemned for a joint because of the connotation society put on it, or is it because of the fact that marijuana really hurts you to a degree where you shouldn't be using it? Because it's proven nobody's died from it.
No. There's yet to be a case of, well, unless if it's like laced with like, for example, like if Dean Ambrose, you know, if Dean Ambrose was to smoke, you know, what kind of example would that set for like the other wrestlers in the locker room? Like, are they going to start? They might start smoking too if they see Dean smoking too, in a sense, you know, because it can influence a lot of people around you. And also, you know, the WWE, you know, they're in a PG era right now. There's a lot of kids at the show. Would you really want? Would parents want to bring their kids to a wrestling show knowing that their wrestlers get high, like off of weed and stuff?
I think so. I think kids were going to the shows a lot in the Attitude Era where there was topless women. And
that is all the time. It's bad business.
I'm not saying that if a wrestler decides to do that, they should flaunt it on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live. I'm not saying that they should turn into another Attitude Era, because it is a different time. You're right. But I'm saying I'm pretty sure if a report went out, and let's say they had no rules against marijuana, and a report went out was like, reported Dean Ambrose caught smoking a joint. I bet you any money that would add to his character in this society, because let's be honest, people love to see things like that. People love to peel behind the curtain and see what these guys do on their free time and see how people act and see things they're not supposed to see, in a sense. People like that when it comes to television. I think if there was no rules, no connotation, and someone found that out about an Ambrose or something edgy of that matter, that it wouldn't affect the character or the performer.
I mean, but they wouldn't turn it into a storyline, because if that was the case, then they would have made. I mean, but it's like WWE, if they really wanted to turn that into a storyline, they could. But it's just like it's risky, you know.
I don't think you need to either.
Yeah,
you don't need to spotlight it, but
absolutely. In a sense, it's like if a wrestler knows that they're not supposed to smoke weed and they do, it's showing that they're kind of abusing the system in a sense, and they're kind of careless, and it's you definitely would want wrestlers in your promotion to definitely care at the end of the day, because you know you've worked so hard to be in a company. I can't understand as to why you would want to tarnish your spot in the company over a joint or whatever, you know. So
I agree. If the rules are in place and you do it anyway, you're just costing yourself a lot of money. But
absolutely,
in my opinion, the rules should be a little lenient when it comes to drugs that haven't been proven detrimental to one's health. If you feel like Adderall or marijuana should not result in a suspension for 30 days without pay, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. Like our Facebook page at No Dash Holds Bar. Subscribe to us on YouTube.